Hi, this is Renee from I Teach Blogging, and today I'm doing something a little different than I normally do. We're going to see how it goes. Maybe I'll do it a little more often. I have my tablet here. I'm not using it in the traditional script format, but I do have a couple of notes. Every morning when I get up, I have coffee time. That's very important. And then I spend some time online. I do some reading, some research. I go through my Feedly. I see if there's something I feel like, oh, I need to use this today. And so I just wanted to talk about some of the things that I go through. So I have my list here, some of the stuff that I did today. So let's see, what did I do today? I went to the Michael Hyatt Platform University. My partner bought this for me as a gift. It was a really wonderful gift. I greatly appreciate it. He gave it to me, and I'm going to put something up here on the screen, I think, just to show you this. It's pretty cool. Michael Hyatt, if you're not familiar, you should definitely go to his blog. He talks about leadership and productivity. Those are the main reasons that I follow him. But now he has what's called Platform University, and basically what he's done, I just noticed a huge stain above my camera. What he is doing with it is talking about his platform. How did he build it? Because people ask him this all the time. So he said, oh, hey, there's a business model here. Pretty good idea, right? Do you have any of those? Where if people keep asking you the same questions, then maybe there's a business model there, and you need to consider that. So one of the things that he's doing on the Platform University is he's doing, I forget what exactly it's called, but I called it a blog critique in my notes. So somebody applies every week, I think it is, and then they'll go through him and his daughter, who's running, she's the dean of the Platform University, which I think is fascinating. But anyway, she's really great. She doesn't have the role just because she's his daughter, but they go through and they critique the site, and they say, okay, what are the things that you want to learn? What are the things that you want to do better? And then they just give their opinions. So the thing that stuck out to me today is that the site that he was critiquing, he critiqued it in such great detail, not just the theory of how to make this better, but he got down to business. He was like, okay, you are using this font type here, but this font type here, this font size on this page, but this font size on this page. Be consistent with your font sizes and your font types. This is an issue that I tend to struggle with. I'm always messing around, goofing off with stuff. But one of the things that really struck me, and I got to go back and look at this a little bit closer, because while yes, I use Photoshop a lot and I've gotten really good at it, I didn't go to design school. So there's things that I screw up, I know. But this particular tip I thought was interesting. He said, don't use the inch marks on your images when you're doing a quote in Photoshop. Make sure that you're using the appropriate quote mark. Don't just use the little foot symbol or as your apostrophe. Make sure that you're using the right stuff in Photoshop. I, at this time, have no idea what that means, but I have to figure it out and make sure that I'm doing it right, because odds are very good that I'm doing it wrong. So I thought that was very fascinating. And his point in this is, you might say, God, that's such a detailed thing, who cares? But he's right. It starts to really make a difference. All of these little details start to matter. If you start realizing that once you get to a subsequent page that it's a little bit harder to read because the font size is a little bit smaller, something to think about. It really is. And if the inch marks are being used instead of the quote marks, it says something. Even if it's subconscious and you don't know that it's wrong, when you see it somewhere that it's right and you think back, it's all these little things that start to add up. And this is why having a nice looking blog is so critical to success. I'm not saying mine is anywhere near that. I'm probably a really bad mechanic, so to speak. I'm always busy working on somebody else's, so I experiment a lot with mine or don't spend the time that it deserves. I'm guilty of that right there. Next thing I did was to stop by the Viper Chill website. This guy is fairly new to me. ViperChill.com. Highly recommend it. He fascinates the crap out of me, but I won't go into all of that. But I'm going to tell you why I stopped by there. And so I'm going to go into a little rant. So much so that I'm actually going to set this down for a second. Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income is somebody that I greatly, greatly admire. The guy has become the adorable little short dude that we talk about in my household. Seriously, I greatly admire this guy. And I don't even know how tall or short he is. I think he's short. No offense, Pat Flynn. But I'm pretty sure you'll never watch this. He's been on a trip, traveling, speaking, doing his Pat Flynn stuff. And he sent out this email, and it cracks me up when I get these newsletter things in the first place, and I don't know, maybe my newsletter's even doing it, and if it does, I'm sorry, it's freaking weird. But it says, hi Renee, this is Pat Flynn here, and I want to say blah, blah, blah. First of all, I know that you're not personally writing me, so that freaks me out, and I find it a little creepy. But whatever, I'll overlook it. And he said, hey, are there things that you would like for me to start talking about? And normally, because I know this is all a newsletter that's going out to gazillions of people, I think 750,000 people are subscribed to his newsletter, or some 75,000, I don't know, some ridiculous number. And that's fantastic for him. But I decided, I'm going to respond to this. So I did. I responded. I said, I know you're doing this niche site duel, and we all know what it is and everything, but I would like to see somebody like you, somebody that has reached this ultimate crazy level of success, actually start over with nothing. I mean, where you don't talk about it until it's over, you run some kind of true test because if you're doing a niche site, but you're telling us about it every step of the way, that's fantastic, and that serves a terrific purpose. But it's not the same thing as you starting from scratch and nobody knowing that it's you doing it. It's just not the same. So I had been seeing a lot of people do this kind of stuff, these niche site things, or they're starting over with something new and they're showing their progress, and that's fantastic. But the first time that he mentioned that he's got this niche site of Food Trucker, I immediately went to Food Trucker to see what it's like, which means that he's not getting it from the true source of, hey, this is a new product. And I understand that and I get that, but I'd really like to see somebody new. Well, coincidentally, I was looking for a new podcast to listen to because I'm a podcast junkie, and I ran across this Viper Chill guy's podcast. And the thing that he was doing, it led me to his site, led me to some stuff he was talking about, is that he is doing exactly what I suggested. He is doing this niche site thing. It has these great rules. I won't go into it here, but it's so cool. And we have no idea what the niche site is. So he's given us the results of what's happening without us knowing what the heck it is that he's doing. And I think that is great. And that is fantastic. So I stopped by Viper Chill's website today, or his blog, just to see if he had done any updates on this, because I'm really excited to see how this all really goes. Because if you have a platform and you build a new platform, that's wonderful. Like Michael Hyatt doing Platform University. That's fantastic, and I'm getting a lot from it. But it's not like Michael Hyatt wasn't somebody that was already known, so it's not a fair comparison of saying, okay, yeah, Renee, I know that you're doing a membership site that's currently free right now. Plug right there. And I have like 2 people signed up for it. Michael Hyatt in the first 4 days got 1,500 people to sign up for his. So it's not a fair comparison. But I thought it was really interesting, so I'm really fascinated by what Viper Chill is doing, and I can't wait to see what happens with it, because it'll be really interesting to see if he's able to build something again from scratch without his name attached to it to do the same success. So basically the question is, does the method itself work, or was it just dumb luck, right? So that's what we're all trying to figure out here. This is why I started over, because I want to know. Okay, sorry about the disappearance there. I had to get the tablet back. Okay, so now let's see, what else did I do? Because you can see I do a lot of things in the morning. Oh, Social Media Examiner. This is why I take notes. Have you ever been to socialmediaexaminer.com? If not, you got to go, because if you want to learn about social media, this is the premier guy. Yeah, I talk about social media tools and things like that, but this guy, he's way a level above. He has amazing traffic. He just put on this amazing conference that I so wish I could have gone to, but who the heck can afford that kind of money for a ticket to San Diego? Because the truth about conferences, it's not just the cost of the $1,500, $2,000 conference, it's the cost of getting there, the hotel, the food, blah, 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 right? So anyway, I didn't go. But his site went down. Now, I build websites. I own DFW Website Designers, and I build websites, so this is something that I'm very familiar with. But his site went down right after his conference. Now, I don't know if this is because his conference drew so much traffic or what the heck happened. It was a 503 bad gateway area, so that means something really bad happened. His site was down for a couple of days. This morning I went back to see if it was up, and it is up. When I went this morning, very first thing, the front page was up, but subsequent pages were down. Well, I went back right before I made this video. Looks like most of his pages are back. Way to go. But the reason I bring this up is this is an ultra successful company, Social Media Examiner. And if their site can go down and things can go wrong, it can happen to any of us. It has happened to me. Matter of fact, my site, I Teach Blogging, went down last week. Bad things happened. Nothing I could do about it. It was just down, and I had to wait. And I had to, contact people and have conversations, do things that made myself feel better until it came back. That's just the way it is sometimes. I stopped by ProBlogger's site. Love this guy, Darren Rose. I just did a podcast about him yesterday. It hasn't been released yet, but regardless. When I stopped by there, I saw that Chris Ducker was doing a guest post. This dude, Chris Ducker, is everywhere that I am right now, which of course is by plan. I think it's fantastic. He's just released a new book about Virtual Staff Finder, which is his company. And the guy's doing really cool stuff. He's fantastic. I just think it's interesting, these big guys that are doing these massive things like this. So here's Chris Ducker, who has built this tremendous audience. The guy is really inspirational, and I highly recommend you go to his site, chrisducker.com. But the interesting thing about him is he is on Pat Flynn, which is where I first heard about the book. He is on a Smart Passive Income podcast. Check it out. He's on Michael Hyatt. He's everywhere. It's like, dude, okay, I already know about your book. I know all these things. It's fantastic. I'm just that one rarity there. Most people that read Michael Hyatt may not read Pat Flynn, so I understand what he's doing. It was just like, all right, I'm leaving for a blogger because I don't need to see this again. I already get it. I get it, and I'm following this guy, and it's terrific. But I just thought that was amusing. I checked my stats. That's always depressing. See, thing is, I started over with a new platform, and I'm just now really starting to do what you're supposed to do and dedicate yourself to it and all those kind of things. I started this blog about a year ago, but I didn't really do anything with it because I started it for a specific reason, because I needed something to hold my speaker data, so that because people were starting to ask me to speak about blogging, and that made total sense, but I didn't have the time because I was busy building up DWD. I didn't have the time to focus on ITB. Don't you love all those acronyms? So now I'm really focusing on it. Last 2 months in particular are about 80% of my time is focused on the ITB, and then 20 to my other 20%, maybe sometimes it's 60%, like last week was total loss for me. But anyway, my stats suck. They're so bad. But I'm like, and then I heard this podcast yesterday from Pat Flynn, and he was talking about when he first started, and obviously Pat Flynn is my idol, but when he first started, and he just happened to mention a casual moment where he was at like 10 a day, which is kind of where I am, 10 to 12, and some days I'll spike up to 80, and there's a direct correlation between how much effort I'm putting into promoting my site versus how much I get back, right? But anyway, he said I'm at 10, and he was just stuck. And then he did a guest post for somebody, and he went up to 1,000 hits, and he stayed there. So if you need a guest post for me, let me know. Actually, that's not really my gig, but sure, I'd be happy to do it. And likewise, if you want to guest post with me, let me know. We'll see what we can do. Although guest posting is not the way to get SEO traffic anymore. That was true back in maybe 2011 or so when he did this, but now it's different. Just want to say that. But regardless, it's still a good idea to give back. All right, let's see if I have anything else. Oh, last thing. I listened to a podcast today by Podcast Answer Man. This guy is awesome. podcastanswerman.com. You want to go there. But interestingly enough, normally we talk about his podcasting, but he did a podcast about Twitter. And it crushed my soul in so many ways. Social media is changing so much. And Twitter, of course, is true. These guys are using Twitter apps instead of just going to twitter.com or Hootsuite or something, and they're blocking out all these things. So if you use Buffer, if you use SocialLump, if you use any type of automation tool, or if you even do Follow Friday, right, pound FF, they're not seeing it. People are starting to block this information out because Twitter has become so incredibly automated and false that people are just sick of it. We knew this moment would come. I remember back in 2009, 2010, when I first started Fun City, when I first joined Fun City, I should say. I didn't start it, but I joined it. Automation was perfect. I still use automation. Whoops, touched my mic. Very bad, Renee. I still used automation. I still do today, but I'm using it in a completely different way. But the thing that I am personally trying to do is become more human. I mean, I tweeted out today, are there any humans left? I got one response, one. And I have a decent social media following, right? So that's fascinating. I think it deserves its own video, the conversation. I think it deserves its own podcast. But I just wanted to mention it. Make sure you're being human. For every time that you automate, do live tweets 4 or 5 times for 1 to 4. I really think that's a good ratio. I'm just kind of thinking this through. But anyway, that's it. I just wanted to talk about my morning. Maybe this is why it takes me so long to get started every morning, because I'm trying to absorb as much and learn as much as I possibly can. My average day doesn't even start at the office. I think I got here at like 10 because I spent the morning doing this. I do it every day. This is how I learn. This is what I do. So I don't know if it's true productivity or not. I'm not sure. I guess we'll see how it goes as the time moves on. But I just wanted to share some of the things that I read this morning and some of the ideas that came across to me and what I thought of them. I hope that you blog on, folks. Seriously, just freaking do it. Okay? Bye.